Iran unveils a new peace proposal. U.S. envoys head into fresh talks. Is this the moment diplomacy finally works? Or just another strategic move in a long geopolitical game? Tonight, global attention turns once again to the long-standing tension between the United States and Iran. Iran has reportedly put forward a new peace proposal, according to state-linked media, just as U.S. envoys prepare for another round of high-stakes negotiations. The timing is striking, and it raises a critical question. Is this a genuine step toward peace, or a calculated diplomatic maneuver?
And that question cannot be answered without looking at the broader context. Because this isn't the first time we've seen proposals, negotiations, and temporary de-escalations between these two nations. What makes this moment different is not just the proposal, but the global pressure for a resolution.
From Washington's perspective, any proposal must be examined with caution. Past negotiations have often stalled due to disagreements over nuclear policy, sanctions, and regional influence. So while the offer may signal willingness to talk, it doesn't automatically guarantee progress.
But diplomacy always begins with a signal, and this could be that signal. If Iran is presenting a new framework, it suggests at least some level of flexibility or willingness to re-engage. And in a region where tensions can escalate quickly, even a small opening can be significant.
But flexibility needs to be proven, not just suggested. The U.S. has consistently emphasized that any agreement must include verifiable commitments, especially regarding nuclear activity. Without those assurances, proposals risk becoming symbolic rather than substantive.
That's true, but verification itself is part of negotiation, not a precondition for it. You don't start with full trust, you build it step by step. And if both sides come to the table expecting complete guarantees from the start, talks can collapse before they even begin.
Still, the stakes are too high for vague commitments. We're talking about regional stability, global energy markets, and international security. So any agreement must go beyond diplomatic language. It must deliver measurable outcomes.
And yet, diplomacy is often about managing uncertainty rather than eliminating it entirely. Even partial agreements can reduce tensions, create communication channels, and prevent escalation. So perhaps the focus should be on progress, not perfection.
Let's consider the timing again. This proposal comes as U.S. envoys are heading into talks, suggesting that Iran may be trying to shape the narrative before negotiations begin. That could be strategic positioning rather than genuine compromise.
Or it could be a gesture of seriousness, showing that Iran is coming to the table with something concrete. In diplomacy, timing is always strategic, but that doesn't automatically make it insincere. Sometimes it simply reflects readiness to engage.
But readiness must be matched with consistency. If proposals change frequently or lack clarity, it becomes difficult to build a stable negotiation process. And that has been a recurring challenge in past talks.
Consistency is important, but so is adaptability. Negotiations evolve, and proposals often change as both sides respond to new realities. The key question is whether those changes move the process forward or keep it stuck.
Another factor to consider is the role of international mediators. Countries like Pakistan and others have been involved in facilitating dialogue, adding another layer to the process. This could either strengthen negotiations or complicate them further.
But mediation is often essential in high-stakes conflicts. Neutral or semi-neutral parties can help bridge gaps, clarify positions, and reduce misunderstandings. So their involvement may actually increase the chances of progress.
Let's not forget the domestic pressures on both sides. In the United States, political divisions influence how negotiations are approached and perceived. And in Iran, internal dynamics also shape how far leaders can go in making concessions.
Exactly, and those internal pressures often limit flexibility. Even if leaders want to reach an agreement, they must consider public opinion, political rivals, and institutional constraints. That's why diplomacy is rarely just about external relations, it's also about internal balance.
So we have a situation where both sides are navigating complex internal and external challenges. And in that environment, even a well-intentioned proposal can struggle to gain traction. That's why skepticism remains high.
But skepticism should not become cynicism. Because if every proposal is dismissed before it's fully explored, opportunities for progress can be lost. And in a region as sensitive as this, missed opportunities can have serious consequences.
So here's the central question. Is Iran's latest peace proposal a genuine attempt to break the cycle of tension? Or another move in a long strategic game where negotiations are used as leverage?
And the answer may not be immediate. Because diplomacy unfolds over time through actions, responses, and trust-building steps. What matters now is not just the proposal, but how both sides choose to engage with it.
As U.S. envoys enter talks and the world watches closely, this moment could mark a turning point, or another chapter in a prolonged negotiation process. The difference will depend on commitment, clarity, and the willingness to move beyond past patterns. And until then, the question of peace remains open.
Because in international relations, proposals are only the beginning. What follows, the negotiations, the compromises, and the outcomes, determines whether peace is achieved or postponed. And right now, the world is waiting to see which path this moment will take.